My name is Ali Mohammed. People call me Ali Mohammed, and I'm born in India in a state called Andhra Pradesh. Sit with people and help them achieve their financial goals. Though we came in with nothing to this country, if I look at past my 20 years of my life in Melbourne or Australia, we definitely are very blessed. We've done very well for ourselves. Pursue my education to become a financial advisor. That was actually the beginning of my career or my profession as a financial advisor. Look for a home loan or pushing any particular product like superannuation or salary sacrifice, binding nominations, estate planning. These are technically people may not understand. The earlier you start, the easier it is for you. I am Ali Mohammed and this is my story. My name is Ali Mohammed. People call me Ali Mohammed, and I'm born in India in a state called Andhra Pradesh. I run a financial planning business called Planet Wealth. I live here in Australia in Melbourne with my wife Razia and my twins Samir and Shireen, who are 22.
What is your profession and what do you do for living?
Yeah, I work as a financial advisor and a mortgage consultant, and my job is to sit with people and help them achieve their financial goals. And I run a practice and I am a director of Planet Wealth.
When, why, and how did you move to Australia?
I moved to Australia in 2004. While I was working for Indian Air Force, I did that for about 11 years, and then I worked for Apple in sales for about 4 years. Then we had twins, and it was difficult for me to manage the twins and working in creative industry because the timings are a bit difficult. That happened, and then we were looking at moving somewhere, and we had a couple of options, and we chose Australia to come, and that happened in 2004.
After moving to Australia, what was your first job?
I moved in here 2004, and my English language skills were not very good, so I had to pick up what comes first. So I actually started working as a salesman for a sign company in Box Hill in Melbourne. My job was to go to shop and get business for the sign company, so that and then come back to the office and help the production people in preparing the signs and installing them after hours, sometimes in the nights and sometimes in the weekends. That was my first job. Not very well paid, but I was very thankful that I had something to do.
Reflecting on your journey, how do you perceive it so far?
I feel I'm like extremely lucky as a family. We are really blessed. Though we came in with nothing to this country, once if I look at past my 20 years of my life in Melbourne or Australia, we definitely are very blessed. We've done very well for ourselves. The journey has been very satisfying, and yeah, the values, the family values, and the work ethic we have, if you're willing to work hard, I think Australia is the place you can be successful.
What motivated you to pursue a career in financial planning?
We all have, once you get to a stage, we all have a story. When you are a migrant and you migrate to Australia and you do financially well, we will all have a story saying that, okay, either we worked in hotels or we drove Ubers or whatever it is. So we all start from basics because we don't come here with a lot of money. When I came here, I started working as a salesman, and I did 3 or 4 gigs of sales for about 5 years in Australia. And my last job was I used to work as a salesman in Harvey Norman. And during this time, I was very curious about money and taxation and how it all works. And I was worried about more for myself and my family. And I started working out. And then I engaged a financial advisor very early in my life in Australia. And I started asking him so many questions, and I started doing research of my own. And then my financial advisor encouraged me to pursue my education to become a financial advisor. That was actually the beginning of my career or my profession as a financial advisor.
What were some challenges you faced and how did they impact your life?
In Australia, mainly the challenges was getting used to the culture here, and communication and language was one barrier. And I always knew that I wanted to do something I wanted to do something on my own, but I didn't have any capacity to invest any money for my business. So I had to work quite hard to get to a stage where I was very confident about what I wanted to do and how I can start, because failure was not an option for me.
Can you explain the concept of financial literacy?
In this country, it is funny because we are a very advanced country and the education system is pretty good to a stage. It takes time for children to get to an age and understand everything on their own. But if we had a choice or a chance to get finance as like a subject introduced in the schools, from primary level and secondary level, and people have an understanding about organizing cash flow, budgeting, and saving and investing, and what is the risk profile. These sort of things can actually be explained very early in life. So people can become very cautious about what they are doing with their money, and they can be very calculative. And there are a certain number of people can be like a little bit aggressive if they wanted to invest the money. But at least when you have financial literacy spread across Australia at a very young age, or from children right from the age of 7 or 8, and if we teach them how to save and how to invest, I think it's actually going to help everybody to do these things on their own. And then probably they also understand the need for engaging professionals like us, because right now half the people don't understand what the concept of financial planning in this country is.
How do you customize your services to meet the unique needs and goals of your clients?
How you customize it? When I sit with the people, rather than asking them what they wanted to achieve, I quickly ask them a question about what would you like to have if you have to stop work tomorrow, or if you have to not get up in the morning with an alarm clock, so that you have to go out and make some money, so that you have money to pay the bills. So it's then if you say, oh, if you make a list of things you need and go through that particular list and say that, okay, if I have a paid off house and if I have a passive income of certain amount like 5,000 or 10,000 every month, and then if you wanted an investment property, or if you wanted a holiday money, or you need money for your children's education or your daughter's wedding, you make a list of things and say that, okay, if I have all of these, then I don't have to get up to go to work. Which the list is nothing but your goal when you become 65. When you become 65, you don't actually go to work. So if you realize that if you are going to become 65 in today's dollars, you actually can set up a goal and say that, okay, I need these things if I don't have to go to work. So you literally have that in that list. You have a goal for your life, at least a financial goal for your life when you become 65. And that's a good beginning point. What I do is, rather than telling them to look for a home loan or pushing any particular product like superannuation or salary sacrifice, binding nominations, estate planning, these are technically people may not understand. And I just don't want to push these products to the people. What I wanted to do is, I actually wanted to sit with them, nudge them, and say that, okay, would you like to make sure your family is protected? If they say yes, then I talk to them about insurance and how to actually structure it. Do you want to pay it from your cash flow? Can you claim tax on it or not? Would you like to pay it through your superannuation, which is before the tax dollars? So you can structure it and you can ask and you can speak about that particular product. What I do is basically goals-based financial planning, which means I figure out what their goals are, and then I actually suggest them a service or a product which will help them achieve that goal. So people understand I'm not trying to sit here and push boxes. I'm trying to explain to them these are the things they need to achieve their goals. And it's like kicking each goal and ticking off from your list. And you know that, okay, sooner or later we're going to achieve everything. But then you have to start somewhere. The earlier you start, the easier it is for you. What happens in life is like, you know, everybody is going to retire at 65. And our parents will send us to school at the age of 5. And we study for 15 to 20 years at an average in Australia. And you come into the workforce from the age of 20 or 25. And you work up to 65, which is like you're studying for 20 years and working for 40 years just because you wanted to have your retirement life comfortable. So out of your 85 being the average life expectancy in this country. Till 65, you're struggling because you wanted to make sure your retirement life is comfortable. So what I would like to say is, if you don't focus on that retirement, there is no point you studying, and there is no point you working hard, giving up on your family, your children, you everything, and you come all the way from whichever country you come from. It is no point. This is all happening because you don't even know what you wanted to achieve in life. So what I do is I sit with them, explain these things, and I'm a professional. I've been accredited as a financial advisor, and government recognizes us for doing what I am doing. And we put people's best interest at our mind and then prepare a plan for them. And then it becomes easy for them so they can be best of what their profession is. If they are IT people, if they are entrepreneurs, if they are drivers, if they are whatever, they're lecturers or lawyers, they can do what they are good at. And when they have free time, they can actually spend the time in a quality way with their children and families so that they don't have to worry about one thing, which is money.
Looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for the future?
See, I always wanted to grow in terms of my business or personally. I'm always studying because that is kind of thing which you need in this country to become be a professional. You need to update yourself all the time. I also wanted to balance between what I need to be very happy with my life. I also look at it's not only the money, and I also focus on keeping myself fit and look after my health. And I also wanted to take time out to spend with my family and my children, quality time with them. Apart from that, if there is an opportunity to work in the community or society, what I can do to go out and help so that, yeah, I can feel happy at the end of my career.
What do you miss most about India while living in Australia?
While living in Australia, what I miss about India is mainly probably food and my family. My parents who are not here anymore, and my friends, my Air Force life, and yeah, the life I used to work when I was in Apple, meeting all the creative people and film people. I think that's about it. And yeah.
How do you define success?
See, it's success. I don't want to measure it in terms of how much money we make. It's a balancing act between being healthy, having enough money to enjoy the choices in life, and spending time with family, and a bit of traveling and getting out and helping people around you, doing the right thing by people around you. And when you finish the day, I wanted to be very satisfied about what I have done for the day. It's about the work I do and people I help. And I think that's how I measure my success. I don't want to see it as a race where I just keep running to make some money or extra money. We all have to realize that we don't take it along with us. So after a certain point, money is useless unless you have a purpose in mind. If you are ambitious and if you have a purpose in mind where money is like helps you to achieve that purpose, I think it's a good thing that you run behind it. If you just wanted to make money and keep it in your bank account, I don't think it's no point.
What does happiness mean to you?
Happiness for me is like getting up and doing the right thing, enjoying every minute of my day, and going to bed thinking that I've done something worthwhile today, and sleeping peacefully.
In what ways do you give back to the community?
Giving back to the community is what I do as a financial advisor, which is very satisfying as a professional. I always give back to the community. Apart from that, I do a lot of work in my own community, being a volunteer, and I also go to schools and asylum centers and talk about finance. And a lot of communities, mainly the Indian or Southeast Asian communities, where I go and talk about financial advice and why it is important, which actually helps spread the financial literacy. And I take pride in talking to children of my clients without expecting anything, so that I can actually give them enough guidance so that they start very early in their life. And I have a lot of good stories to tell about financial advice and how the children are doing well just because the parents were smart enough to introduce us to their children. So this is all giving back to the community. This is Ali Mohammed, and you're watching Good Day India.